Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy M.K.S here. I hope everyone's well. Um, I hope people enjoy this video as I always do, as always hope for. I couldn't really think. I was thinking I was telling you a really boring. Well, I don't know if it's a boring story, but knowing me, it probably will be. I tried to make it interesting, but I'll probably post it in the comments. I'm not sure whether I should tell the story or not, because it's probably one, it'll probably make me look foolish, and two, it's probably not that cool or interesting as I might hope. But anyway, I'll probably, as I say, I'll post it in the comments, so you can read it if you want. As ever, please do leave any comments. I hope you'll give me some likes and share the video and all that. Yeah, excellent. And any support I get will be great, and hopefully will help me to help other people who are disadvantaged. Anyway, sorry, I'll try not to waffle. So I know I often come up with these list videos, and I'll try not to be too repetitive, and I hope you'll find some of the ideas interesting. And hopefully, my plan for this, I suppose, in the long term is to see all of Asia and Africa benefit and to make the world a better place generally, anyway, not just for Asia and Africa, but for the rest of the world, but especially for Asia and Africa. And in particular, I suppose I want Egypt to benefit by being a portal between Asia and Africa, so I hope they will benefit. Anywho, hope you'll enjoy this video. As I say, I can't think of too much else to say for the intro, but anyway, I'm going to crack on. Number 11, sorry. Start this again. Number 11, I hope that Egypt will host events between Asia and Africa, and Asian and African inventors, and look at also like people who want to get into inventing things, and how they can have how those inventors can inspire or motivate other people, and perhaps inventors from poorer or potentially creative or inventive people from poorer backgrounds who might need some financial assistance or investment and all that sort of stuff to help them to become inventors. And also like how Africans and Asians can invest and learn to invest and maybe even in the future perhaps invite people like Warren Buffett and people like that to teach people how to invest, as well as perhaps even people like Bill Gates talk about how to do business, how to run business, which is probably more of a professional term. But yeah, so we're also helping their inventors, existing inventors, but again helping more people to get the confidence to become inventors and to inspire them, and maybe even bring like school children to come and to come and learn about inventions and things like that, or how to invent, or how to become inventors, or what it takes, or things like that. Those who are curious but might need the help to get into it. I also hope to change perceptions of neurodiversity such as dyslexia, ADHD and autism, and for people to see success stories. All being well, I'd love to share success stories from African entrepreneurs, Asian entrepreneurs, dyslexic entrepreneurs, and maybe even dyslexics from Asia and Africa themselves who will become entrepreneurs or things like that, and also like not just entrepreneurs but other areas as well, and that sort of thing. Number 12, I hope that there'll be many mentors who can go to Egypt, and again people from Asia and Africa, especially young people, can go there and be inspired to reach their full potential and to learn about business or banking, or how banking works, how banks work, how to get into banking, or how to get investments from banking, or how to make a plan for a business, or how to keep fit or healthy, or things about medicine or other such areas which could help their economies and their countries, their nations and like generally, and help their individual nations and the continent on the whole. And Egypt could invite all possible people from all possible people from all possible nations from Asia and Africa as well, like South Africa, India, China, but even as many as possible. I suppose obviously there's only a certain amount of people who can fit into Egypt, but I think that would be to invite as many as possible would be great. 13, I hope they can address some of the negative things facing Asia and Africa, and some of the negative things about the continent, or both continents, like corruption, crime, poverty, or whatever other problems there are, and that sort of thing. And number 14, I hope they can find solutions to those problems and look at problem solving, and how they can market those solutions to problems to the rest of the world as well. So as well as helping themselves, they can help others, but also Europe and America, I think, and Australia Australia. I think this would be quite ironic if they actually had to pay people from Africa and Asia to solve those problems or buy their goods and things like that, which look to solve problems and things like that through business and other areas. Number 15, I hope to look at how Asian and African people can help each other, network together, learn from each other, reach their dreams and goals and full aspirations. And Egypt will host as many events as they can with the time and ability they have, obviously with the resources and all that. And possibly big businesses could host events between them and look at things like how Asian nations can teach Africa in technology, and that could cement better relations generally as well. Like I've talked before about how Japan could perhaps teach people from Africa about game making, but also big companies like Microsoft and IBM and Oracle could be there as well, and looking at how to invest in and generally support African development through technology and things like that, and investment in entrepreneurs and that sort of thing. People starting their own tech companies in Africa as well. And again, girls learning about software so they can become empowered as they get older. And I also dream to give everyone in Africa as much. I dream to fundraise for as many people in Africa to get tech training equipment and materials, PCs, laptops, mobiles, possibly books that they can read, or people to mentor them and share potentially helpful websites, YouTube videos, and all sorts of things like that. So it's not just necessarily funding, but also sometimes just awareness and information and things like that. Especially people from neurodiverse backgrounds in Africa, like dyslexics and autistics. Number 16, I hope to look at ways, look at things that need to be changed in Africa and Asia as well, which would help them to be empowered. And again, look at all possible ideas about how they could be empowered, and share out and listening to ideas, the open exchanging of ideas. So people who have ideas that I might not have thought of myself and other people might not have thought of, but collectively when we come together and share those ideas and listen to each other's ideas and sort of analyze them, and also research them and see if they're workable, possibly even test market them and see and bootstrap and budget. So people setting up a business or investing in certain ideas, but obviously if you only spend a certain amount, then even if the idea is not as good as you hoped, then you don't lose too much money. So having that capital, which means you can afford to take risks and experiment on what could go. So eventually, hopefully, you will hit those home runs, if you like, or get those goals, so to speak. Number 17, I just hope to have as much positive relations between Africa and Asia as possible, and hope to use my imagination and creativity, and as well as listening, as I say, to other people between us, hopefully help Africa and Asia, like approximately 5 billion people working together. And again, people obviously they're not going to fit that many people in Egypt, but they could talk about ideas for how that can happen and use imagination and talk about stories and how to help Africans and Asians to tell their stories and sell their stories around the world. And also, I hope that, as I said before, as an Italian football fan, I hope that I can encourage people from Africa and Asia and Egypt itself as well, of course, to become fans of Italian football and Celtic as well. 18. Asian and African nations in Egypt could meet up and talk about positive things they think about each country and what they can learn from each other's country, and how they can network together generally and make peace and prosperity, how peace can lead to greater prosperity through increased tourism, less having to buy weapons to fight each other, but more they can spend that money on medical aid and food and water and feeding everyone and tackling poverty and that sort of thing. So I hope they will look at how to resolve conflict, and Egypt will be facilitators in that sort of thing as well, mediators and negotiators and things like that. And also different countries can send their diplomats and raise diplomacy with each other, and again share goals and work together. Number 19, I hope to, again, big tech companies to go into Egypt, and also and those delegates and people from South Africa and all over Africa, Nigeria and places like that, Cameroon, and as many parts of Africa as possible, and send a few delegates perhaps who can take that information or share ideas or look at goals and how they can bring big tech companies to invest in Africa and train people in Africa in software like Microsoft training developers, and there could be more people from Africa making their own version of Microsoft and becoming software developers and things like that. And 20, I hope to do similar for technology generally, and encourage older people to encourage and inspire and mentor and teach younger people. So as ever, I'd love to know what you think. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found my ideas interesting. Sorry, I'd love to hear other people, and I'd love to see their comments, other people's comments in the comment section, like what we can learn from each other. I hope to hear loads of great ideas. Please give some likes and share the video, please. I beg you. Sorry, shouldn't beg probably, but I really appreciate it. So, peace and love.